I'm cool with it. I like learning. I hope you like learning because HRCI and SHRM, they teach you some things, but there's a lot you still gotta learn. Hey y'all, this is Tamika, the face behind Hey HR, and listen, this video right here has been long awaiting in my opinion. I started outlining it and then I had the toughest time trying to finish filling the meat for it because I wanted it to be helpful for you guys. But I'm gonna tell y'all, there's some stuff that HRCI and SHRM, they don't be telling y'all on all this study material, study modules, notes, all of this stuff. There's some stuff that they just don't tell you. You don't even realize that though I have this certification, it's a lot I still don't know. And so I'm gonna hopefully stay this as calm as I can because honestly, I just started using this new mic and it goes up and down. It causes a whole lot of extra editing. And I guess I'm just trying to get used to it. If you guys wanna know what HRCI and SHRM do not help you study for or prepare for their exams or the HR workforce, then you definitely wanna keep on watching. So the first thing is that HRCI and SHRM, they do not teach you about your organization. As a matter of fact, they don't teach you about any particular organization. They teach you about all of them. They teach you about every type of organization you can absolutely work for under the sun. It is information overload, but so necessary. There's so many different companies that you can work for. There's so many places that you can branch your career, grow your career, whatever. How can they tell you about your organization? Do they know about all organizations? They don't. And then what if they go through, publish all this stuff, make it their study materials, and then your organization changes? So you have to know that this material that you're learning, you got to step out of the box from just what you know from going to work every day if you already started your HR career. And by the time you're taking a certification, you should have. Listen, it's just some things they just can't teach you. It's some things that you're going to have to learn on the job. You're going to have to not only gather, but also create your resources for your current job. I can't tell you how many times I started a new job and then I'm like, they need this form. I need to implement this software and I need to make it this particular way. SHRM and HRCI can't possibly teach y'all that. And so really be prepared that once you take the certification, you are not a know-it-all. You don't know everything. There's so much left to learn. Be prepared in the HR career that you're going to be an everyday learner. I'm cool with it. I like learning. I hope you like learning because HRCI and SHRM, they teach you some things, but there's a lot you still got to learn. And the biggest thing is that they don't teach you the internal knowledge at your organization. Every time I go to an organization, I am always amazed to learn a person that's been there the longest. And I always try to build a relationship with them. There's just so much institutional knowledge that they know that they can help me with, particularly in HR. So I've worked with someone that's been with the company for 30 years. Imagine how much that person knows about the organization, the changes it went through, the phases it's gone through. You want to make sure that you have a relationship with those people because when you can't find where to store your HR stuff for your recruiting event, that person can tell you. When you're like, there used to be this form and now I really can't find it because I see it in a super old file. They can tell you who created that form. There's so much institutional knowledge that person can tell you because SHRM and HRCI, they can't teach you that institutional knowledge and they won't. Another thing that SHRM and HRCI can't teach you is how to balance your emotions when you're going through different changes, personally or for employees. So it's almost like having those emotional and mental changes that happen at the same time. So maybe you lose someone super close in your family and now you're trying to figure out how do I balance work and bereave at the same time? Because them little 2 days, 3 days they gave me off isn't enough. I'm still around here thinking about my family member. At the end of the day, SHRM and HRCI can't teach you how to bereave in a time of loss. Another thing that they can't teach you is when employees come to you with something that's super duper heavy. I've talked about this in a previous video, and honestly, y'all, I don't even remember which video it was, which is sweet. With 150 uploads, your girl be losing it. I had this employee that told me about her daughter doing self-mutilation because she was so upset that her mom took her dad back after he cheated on her. And that was difficult, not only for me, but also for this employee. But when that employee left my office and I'd given them all resources I could give them, it was still heavy for me because I kept thinking about that child. And at night, the next day, when they went on vacation, when she took some time off, I kept asking, how's she doing? How are you guys doing? In the most nice way that I could and the lightest way that I could. But I can only imagine if it was heavy for me, how heavy it was for that employee. SHRM and HRCI can't teach you how to manage those emotional and mental changes as it's going on. So just imagine if they can't help you balance that, how can they help you balance it when your company doesn't help you? There are many times that even in HR, you're going to feel like we should offer more. People are looking at you to create that. SHRM and HRCI doesn't know exactly what that could be. They tell you what all companies do. But your company in particular, you want to figure out something that's going to be successful for your company and your employees. And so they just can't teach you that. So another thing that SHRM and HRCI can't teach you is how to handle simultaneous changes all at the same time, particularly when you need to pivot on whatever strategy you're implementing. You're going to have to master those critical thinking skills. You're going to have to master being able to organize life for yourself. You're going to have to master how to keep track of those changes over time, almost like project management. And you're definitely going to have to realize how to do multitasking. Things are going to change in different places at different times. It's been so many times that I make a plan for that week or for that day, and it just doesn't go linear. You don't know what's going to hit your door. You don't know what new thing is going to come out that you need to adjust. It's just so many times that you have so many changes going on at the same time, simultaneous, and they're different. They're all over the place. HRCI and SHRM does not teach you that in the exam. Don't feel bad. So don't feel bad just because you're not sure how to manage so many things at the same time. There's so many moving pieces that sometimes it does give us imposter syndrome. It makes us think that we're not capable of doing the job. No, work on perfecting your multitasking, your critical thinking, and organizing skills. And there's so many different planner community videos that I enjoy watching because it teaches me how to use my planner better, and it helps me think through how to keep track of so many different things. Even if you're not interested in the actual written planners, then you can definitely use a project management system or a digital planner to help you get along. There's Monday, there's Trello, there's just so many different options that you can use to say, okay, I'm going to manage these projects. And in actuality, the rest of your team can kind of see that as well and help you. Definitely use all resources. Look at what other folks are doing. When you build your network and you're having conversations with other professionals, they'll tell you how they keep track of it too. And that'll be so helpful as you continue to just let time go on and continue practicing until you get to, if not perfection, but definitely in a better space than where you started. So that leads me into my very last thing that SHRM and HRCI simply does not teach you. And that's your organizational skills. Now, before I dive into the organizational skills, I will tell you that you should definitely join my email list because it definitely gives you tips on how to stay organized. And I always reference different things that I'm doing. So that'll give you a contact of seeing how does she manage it all. You can see through my email. So the link is below. Join my email list. But I will tell you that making sure that you learn how to just stay organized will help you so much. Unfortunately, SHRM and HRCI does not teach you how to get organized. You're going to have to find a system that works for you. If it's making sure that you put everything into your Outlook calendar so that you can get those alerts right before a meeting, if it's doing time blocking in that Outlook, if it's using your Gmail, if your company uses Gmail or you use it on a personal basis, if it's using an actual project management system, if it is literally writing out a checklist and just going back and checking those things off, there's going to be so many things that you have to do. You have to figure out how you want to organize it. Now, I've talked about how do you keep yourself organized, but then you also have all of these employee files that you need to keep organized. So if you're not working in a company that's 100% digital and everything's online, then most times you have a file room or file cabinets with different files that you have to keep track of. And when it's time to add something new into it, then you also need to keep track of that too. So I always make sure that I have 3 different containers up there. One that says to be filed, one that says action needed, one that says termination. So I know that it goes into the term files. Every time someone separates from the organization, I make sure to pull their file and put it into a whole separate section because at the end of the day, I need to go back through all of those things in the term bin and make sure that I've included that into their file before I put it into a separate area. You have to find a system, guys. That's just one of many examples of what I've done to figure out how to organize my life as an HR professional. Now, one of the main things that y'all know I talk about it in so many videos is my notebooks. And I absolutely love French notebooks. I put my label down on it. I carry a new notebook to every organization and it definitely helps me. So if doing it handwritten isn't your thing with some sticky marks in there, then maybe just doing it an electronic way works for you. But you need to figure out an organizational system to keep everything together because unfortunately planning for that certification studying for it, you don't see tips on how to stay organized. And I wish they would include more things, because there's just so many things that you have to keep organized. In addition to employee files, you have workers' comp cases, you have FMLA cases, you have multiple of each. There's so many things that you need to know. When do I need to step back into this? When can I just file it away? When do I need to follow up with someone on it? And so finding an organizational way is really, really helpful. But I did do a video that tells you how I keep my life organized as an HR professional. So I will put it here, and I'll definitely put it down in the description box below so you can see how I keep track of all of these 50 million things that I do. And please be prepared. You're going to be shocked how ancient your girl is on some of her tactics, but it's worked for me and it's definitely brought me success. For those of you who are new to Hey HR, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. If you guys can do me a huge favor, this would definitely support my channel if you just hit the like button, make sure to share it with some others. And if I didn't catch something, then definitely put it in the comments below. But until then, I just cannot wait to see you on the next video.